You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 368 of East Central's favorite podcast. Jeremiah Morrell, joined by executive video producer, audio engineer, retired middle school coach Zach Burcham.
Off season, not retired.
We're announcing it now. You're signing up for another year.
I don't know. I'm still not done. I still have the banquet in a couple of weeks.
They're extending his contract, folks. Liberty defender Sean Rao is
Hello.
here.
Thank you.
And tonight in the co-host chair, we've got Forrest Gump. Veteran Forrest Plank is here. Welcome, sir.
Not a veteran. Veteran of the show, yes, not a veteran.
It's not what I read on the internet today.
So I've heard.
Our show is going to be Our Lives in Rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes provoke you, other times make you laugh, but hopefully you'll always learn something new. The big plan today, we're going to talk about the election results. Top of the show, we're going to talk more Indiana and Henry County results for what was there. And then the back end, we're going to go more national and just see what happens. We're going to put a quarter in Sean, let him go. It's gonna be great.
Let's go.
We got him the spotted cow. We drove it down from Wisconsin.
That's
just
right.
for him.
Just for me.
And you don't have to hunch forward, sir. You can bring that mic back anywhere you want. Whatever makes you
looks
comfortable.
more proper.
He looks
setting
like
up
he's
straight.
He looks like he's testifying. He's on the other side of the bench.
I have testified at one point.
Do we have to swear you in?
No, not for this. I don't want to be under oath.
Raise your right hand
Who wants to be able to
and take a drink.
talk
How much
for
did you
free?
hate testifying?
The only time I had to do it was, well, I'll get into it later, but I had to testify for the state, actually.
Well, I just didn't know as an attorney if you don't like testifying because it's civil.
No, I don't like to do it.
I was going to say it's probably not a comfortable feeling.
It's not what I do. I do the
It's
other
not
side.
where-
It's not where you
say.
belong.
I mean,
We don't want to be witnesses. We
I'm
wanna
not admitting to
ask you the
anything.
questions.
I remember one time watching a NASCAR driver get shoved in the back of a two-seater at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with an 80-year-old guy driving. And he got out, and I was like, was that terrifying? He's like, absolutely, because as a driver, he doesn't want to be in the passenger seat. So I kind of wondered, attorney having to testify would be a similar feeling.
That's right.
We just did a nice 20-minute bonus episode. If you want to know what this red bag of
Prawn
crackers is all about,
Pretty delicious.
Patreon.com/BossHogger of Liberty. And you're going to hear a little bit of traffic and weather, I think. I don't know. What else do we do?
The outer loop is clogged.
The
roads still suck here.
the roads are bad.
It's a bit of a rumble strip
And we're replacing
in the driving
We're
lane.
replacing Florida as a winter RVing destination. Got to say thanks to our major sponsors. You too can be one. Top of the show, $50 or more a month. You get special recognition this week. That's John Phillips over at Andy Moore Buick GMC and Blake Reese at Sports Corner and Varsity Outfitters, the official embroiderer of the Boss Hog of Liberty show. Blake should be joining us next week on the program live in studio. You also get the show notes dropped into a special Facebook group that you get admitted to. You join at any level you want, $5 a month, whatever. Help pay the light bill, the heat bill, which is getting to be really important if it ever does get below freezing around here. So Tuesday was election day. No big election night special here. We did it in the primary, but didn't have a whole lot of local races to cover, and thank God we didn't, because the results didn't come in until...
Yes, we did. They were all uncontested.
I even thought there was one contested race because I don't pay that much attention. It wasn't contested.
It was not a contested school board race either.
No,
I thought
it
there was too.
was a pick two.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I was all excited. I was like,
Yeah.
yes. Oh no.
Yeah.
I have to choose
There was-
two.
because I wondered. I was like, there was nobody campaigning at the at the poll site I was at, and I realized
There were no signs this fall, period.
And then I got no.
The vote center downtown had a number of signs, but otherwise there really weren't many out.
Yeah, but I didn't. But there weren't any people. Normally there were people. Like there'd be people campaigning.
So there was one candidate when I was at the polling place on Tuesday morning at the Arts Center. Coroner Brian Clark was there, and he was like, he asked me, he's like, "Why is there nobody else here?" I'm like, "Because they're not running against
anybody.
They have no opposition." I was like, "I'm glad you're here. It's noticed."
At 6:20 at what's the church out behind Dairy Queen and
Whittier
Jack's
Lane?
Donuts?
Oh, Q Avenue Church.
Yeah, is that Bethel? Whatever the church is. 6:20. There's like five signs.
Christ over Q, I think it's called.
There's like 5 signs, and there's one like pollster as you walk out, and that's it. Like,
Was it busy?
No.
REMC,
Is this a
REMC
presidential
looked
election?
overrun with people at like 7 a.m.
I think I was like 10 people deep, and they had 2 machines that every printout wouldn't feed into the machine, so they shut them down. And
did you do a live election day one, or did you go down to the vote center, Sean? Because
so-
you're a downtownite.
Well, actually, so in the Masonic building,
Yes.
you go straight through for early election. How I get to my car is directly that path.
So you just
To
try to
leave
catch a day
work.
where it's
So
quiet.
I just catched it when it was short and voted and bing bang boom. I'm not a big like vote on election day person because it is so convenient for me.
I really just want. You never know if there's going to be a scandal at the last minute, I want the chance to change my mind or get new information.
so when I was a candidate, I loved working the polls on election day. I loved going out and
Same.
talking to people,
Yeah.
and I hated it when I heard people voted early. But now that those running days are behind me, more ways than one.
I did actually hear.
I actually I enjoy the election day voting.
I did actually hear about some people in other areas that were campaigning against the person that they voted for because they cast their vote, and then things happened after they cast their vote that made them upset about how they'd voted. So, vote. Yeah, it's not a bad idea to wait. You never know what somebody's going to say.
I voted at like 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning down at the Arts Center, and maybe 10 people. I had to wait outside of the building to get in,
Yeah.
but it wasn't bad.
I was outside too, and I go to the same place. It's just like that's where I like to go, and they're pretty efficient.
Was it there?
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
the Arts Center.
It was a 75-degree day and at the beginning of November, so climate change isn't real, but that was a nice little way to
T-shirt,
wait.
That's a
shorts, got
pollster's dream right
That's a,
there.
That's a t-shirt and
You never
Yeah.
know when
shorts
you're going to
weather.
get one of those April tornadoes that rolls through on a hot pre-Thanksgiving day for election day.
You never know.
I stood
Tornado season.
outside for election day many times and just froze my ass off.
Absolutely.
Waiting to, trying to shake down votes. Back in the day when you didn't have vote centers, Delaware County still like this, where you have to go to your polling place.
Mhm.
If I was running, like campaigning for a down ticket person, libertarian, like no advantage of straight ticket voting, I personally could turn the number by about 15% by talking to people. So I loved getting outside of.
That's why you're the GOAT.
I could.
That's why you were the GOAT.
So
You're the Tom
the
Brady
first time
of-
that I was on a ballot, I stood at the Arts Center all day long.
Yeah.
And that is my highest vote count.
Yeah.
And,
Sure.
It's
Now that we-
absolutely possible.
Now that we've gone to vote centers, your votes can come from anywhere, and it's a total crapshoot.
Yeah.
It's very different as a candidate and to get that done. And then it also is almost impossible because instead of having to cover 12 hours, it's like, hey, you need to be out here 7 different days to try to cover this. Half the people voted in Henry County essentially before election day.
Yeah, get out the vote has totally changed. Where it's more door to door, getting the word out, social media.
Now they're just going to text you.
Yeah, texting.
So I
Like certain candidates.
All sides have been texting me this election.
So on election day, I voted, and then I drove to Ohio for the day. And when I showed up with my I voted sticker, they're like, "Wait, yours is different." Like, oh no, I did it in Indiana. I'm coming over here, and I'm going to vote now. Then I'm in Ohio.
I'm just going to same day register. You could have gone to Wisconsin and same day registered.
Yeah.
So we had a 66% voter turnout this year. Went back to the previous presidential election, 2020, and our county had a 68% total. But we have 567 less registered voters than we did 4 years ago. I thought that was insane.
That's a lot. That seems like a lot.
Well, I
Diego
think,
Morales has been purging people.
but I think that also goes with Newcastle. Like if you look year over year over year, Newcastle population is shrinking. And
This is the whole county.
I guess the county follows that.
I did hear though that my mom is involved with the League of Women Voters, and they very much stress people checking your voter registration status before that final date, because they said some people have gone to check and they found out that they've been purged, and there's no reason for them to have been purged, but there's been a very aggressive purging of the rolls. So even for people that voted in the primary.
I will say my daughter's in college in New York, and she requested her absentee ballot, I think in September. As of election day, it had never arrived.
She never got it, eh?
Nope. And she was pissed, as were some of her classmates. And I'm not going to blame any party for it.
So there is a process for going inactive, according to the Secretary of State's website. You can go inactive if you haven't voted in essentially, I think, the last handful of elections. They will also mail you a postcard to your house. If it comes through as undeliverable, they'll mail a second one. And then that will get you dropped off the rolls as well. But if you get put in as an inactive voter, you basically have 4 cycles to go through and re-register, or else you get dropped in as canceled, and then you have to go back in to a provisional ballot and tell them at the polling place that you swear to God that you're the right person and you're okay to vote again.
So it's 4 cycles that you did not vote, nor did you move.
Correct. So right now it would be say in 2022 that it happened, you could have attempted in 23, 24, and 26 to have a shot at it. So if you go just at the presidential ones, you would not get purged. You'd be fine. So that's the way Indiana does it. But yeah, 567 less people.
I might see somebody get a provisional ballot, because there was a guy who was not showing up as registered. He's like, I registered. I think he was talking about when he became unincarcerated. Apparently not for a felony.
Felons can vote here.
Okay.
Yep. Indiana, they can win president. Indiana governor race in Henry County. Mike Braun won the county with 63% of the vote. Hometown girl Jennifer McCormick, 30%. And Don Rainwater, rounding up, got to 7% in Henry County. Rainwater was second place last time. McCormick versus Harris. If you look at the presidential and you look at the top line Democrat candidates, Harris is 25% in Henry County. So essentially, McCormick picked up 5% versus the baseline of Kamala Harris. Trump was 72% in Henry County. Chase Oliver was 0.5%, and RFK Jr., who had withdrawn from the race, still pulled in 1% of the vote. Plus, you had some write-ins in there as well.
But when you look at Indiana and our straight ticket voting, Republicans, 42% of all ballots cast in Henry County were straight ticket, and only 12% were Democratic. So when you look at the races, particularly at the state level, Jennifer, she stole some votes.
She definitely flipped some. Did anybody try to vote straight ticket this time? Press the straight ticket button at all?
Nope. I skip it, and that freaking machine always tells me, wait, you did not make a selection.
So I selected, I was definitely a scratch voter, but I selected the Libertarian one to get me started. And then immediately when you go to the next page, and if you make a different selection, it says, oh, well, we're going to delete that for you. Then it unchecks it. It says, and it literally removes the straight ticket tick. I never did that before.
I think it may be worse when you don't make a selection, because this year we had the Republican, we had the Democratic, we had the Libertarian, and we had the We the People.
Yes.
Then we had
write-in.
More or write-in, whatever it was. So the top 4 all fit on the front page. So if you hit next, like to not make a selection, it says, wait, you didn't make a selection. Then you say, okay.
You have to review all the options.
But then it says, wait, there's more below.
Yeah.
And it's the write-in.
Yeah.
I think they might have the meter maybe on the presidential ballot too, maybe.
On the presidential for sure.
Yeah. That there was, and the only other thing that was off page was the write-in. But you have to go look at the write-in. I'm like, okay.
It's like an awful infomercial, but wait, there's more.
I just want to ease all of your concerns because in the 2026 midterm elections, Elon Musk will fix all of this, and he will jump into an X shape and show his fat little belly, and then he will fix all of it because X is the everything machine.
Sean, all you have to
Banking
do is
should be
X-vote.
on that,
You can just
and
X-vote.
he's going to be in charge of stuff
Is it Henry
going
County
forward.
Expo?
He's
X-vote.
at X. It's going to be Expo with E, and then his fat little belly, and the X sign that he tries to make because he can't jump.
He got off the
PO.
ground.
Sort of. He kind of just
Why don't you
looks.
stand here in front of the camera and see if we can jump higher than you?
I have dignity.
please do.
I have dignity. I am an attorney, and I have a career, and I have dignity, and I have standing in this community. I think, and so I don't need to show my fat little belly. He shows his with his little tiny little t-shirts, and it's all going to be fine.
Do you know
It's-
Elon Musk? Never mind. No.
Do I know that Elon Musk should break rocks in Siberia for the rest of his life if this world were just?
Richest man in the world.
I just said that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. No, actually, I did. Continue.
He offers. This is. I've not sourced this myself with firsthand knowledge. This is probably what Sean would classify as hearsay, but I'm sure he'll allow it. The Elon Musk offers his semen to friends and family in case they
I've
want to
heard
father
that.
more children.
I've heard that. He also runs like an illegal lottery in Pennsylvania. And he's getting
There's nothing illegal in Pennsylvania.
well, apparently this is. And so his attorney was like, this is just by chance and not a lottery. And it's just like, this is such a lawyer speak thing. I'm a lawyer. I know this. And I know this lawyer's getting paid however much money to defend Elon and his lottery scheme in Pennsylvania. And I really hope he goes to jail, frankly. But yeah, so
But he'll have a
but
rocket.
anyway,
He'll get a pardon.
Trump will appoint him czar of elections, and Elon will fix all of it, and it'll all blow up and catch on fire just like his cars. So we have a great future ahead of us, folks.
By 2028, all of our election software is going to be written by Elon Musk.
I can't wait. I can't wait to catch on fire when I touch it.
No.
If the candidate appeared in the spring on this show and they won their primary, they were elected to general.
Wait,
so
you're saying we did not have
You're
any
over?
contested
You're over?
elections?
we had we have a new county commissioner in Susan Hoon. Congratulations to Susan.
Not contested.
She was not contested. We have a new county commissioner who's the same county commissioner, Steve Dellinger.
Not contested.
Uncontested. Three county council candidates make it through. So
Oh, so you're saying
Like-
you're undefeated is
so-
what you're saying.
When I saw that one, I got all excited. Like, yes, I get a select three. Oh, there's only three.
Scott,
rounds.
No,
Jones,
if
Jay
you went on the
Davis,
show,
and-
you win. Is that what it is?
yeah, if anybody that
Excellent.
everybody that was on the show that won the primary got through.
Excellent.
Everybody was on the show though that won.
So they got the Mario star. They
And
did that all the
they-
way
Nobody
to all
threw
the
a
way to
turtle
victory.
egg. Right
Nobody
through.
threw a turtle.
It
egg.
only takes
They didn't
9
matter.
months from the time you appear on the show to take office.
Yep.
April until
Well,
January.
why didn't you invite me on until October?
You said you're done with politics. A couple more things that we did talk about before we let Sean just go nuts. Supreme Court justices, they were all retained. We discussed that 2 weeks ago on the show, and the constitutional amendment passed very narrowly. That was like a 51-49 here in Henry
tried.
County.
I tried to keep him in there.
The person that offered the constitutional amendment is one of the Henry County representatives, J.D. Prescott, who represents Stony Creek Township. He authored the amendment. So congratulations to J.D. He's changed the Constitution of the state of Indiana.
Does anybody else withhold vote even if you know it doesn't matter? Because there's definitely some of the people that were unopposed that I just didn't.
You just
vote for.
undervoted it.
Yep.
Yep. Because
They
I'm
don't
like,
all have the same number of votes.
Yeah. I was like, somebody's like, why don't you just? I was like, no, I delight in going through the ballot and be like, you
Well,
don't
You
deserve
can
my
select
vote.
three. I don't want to.
I don't want to.
from
I don't
from my world,
I don't like you.
from my world, the Justice Center, Judge McCord received 18 more votes than Judge Crane. Both were unopposed.
Yes.
Did he walk in on Wednesday and say, "Suck it"?
I would just love to interview all 18 of those people and just find out. Just like, what's up? What's the whole, because they're same party, same election, same everything.
In the last couple of years,
it's
did
just-
he have
well,
18 more?
I don't know if there's just 18 more family
convictions.
members
I'll tell
or
you-
more
I'll tell
people
you
in
what-
divorce cases. He did.
I'll tell you one
know.
differentiator. Judge McCord was in a contested primary,
He was,
and he did appear on this program.
oh, he had the blessing
He had the blessing and the platform
and the Mario
of this
Star.
program. Judge Crane did not have any competition.
No.
because Sean didn't run against him this spring.
Not going to.
so-
Won't. Not now. Not ever.
So
Guarantee that.
there was no. The voters had no choice. There was no excitement. There's less awareness because Judge Crane hasn't been on the ballot in quite some time in a contested race.
Your neighbor.
My neighbor, he drives by me every single day.
I know.
I see his vanity plate. He's the 5th place Republican in all the county. 33R5. Fifth best.
as opposed to 33L1 and 2.
That once was a thing.
Not anymore.
We got IMS plates now, buddy.
Oh, damn it.
Those hang in the garage.
All right.
Actually, one I think one got sold in a charity fundraiser, and the other one in the garage. Yeah.
Well, so 18 more people voted for Judge McCord as opposed to Judge.
I hope that
Right.
I hope that kind of stuff is petty stuff is somehow brought up
I
at
can
some point.
guarantee. Now, well,
do you have coworkers?
that is water
Yeah.
cooler talk.
I can
101.
guarantee I would be
That's to say,
talking
that's-
about this
yeah.
in my
do you
day
work
job.
with people?
Because, and I'm sure that so Jay, Scott, and Chad all have advanced through, and they all get to be county council people. But if I was Jay Davis, I'd be like 2 inches taller because I got more votes than the rest of them.
When I choose to not vote for somebody or not vote, I hope that kind of thing is being brought up in the most petty way possible later on, because it's with that kind of energy that I'm doing it. So
I've kept my streak. I have not voted for a. This is my 6th presidential election. This is when I realized I'm old, middle aged.
We talked about this.
6th presidential
You're so
election.
old.
I haven't hit a winner since my first presidential election. It's been 20 years since I voted for the winner. So don't take my betting advice.
So next time I'm going to ask, hey, Jared, who are you voting for? And I'm just going to vote the opposite, just so I can walk away that night and say, damn it, I'm old.
I picked a winner.
or at least find the odds somewhere and bet against him. Maybe you'll make some money.
Joe Jorgensen didn't win again. Damn the luck. All right. So I'm looking at the notes here. I already killed one of the topics as I talked about it a minute ago. Did you guys see our neighboring county, Hancock County? Did you see the story? John,
I missed it.
John Jessup. He may need your services.
I don't go to Hancock County, so I don't.
Well, wait. I don't think you go to Las Vegas, Nevada.
No, I definitely don't go there.
So
That's where the crime occurred.
In-
Or alleged crime occurred.
incumbent county councilman John Jessup was arrested and has been jailed since April. He's a Hancock County councilman.
Was it April?
April or July? It's been.
I thought
been
it was
many
after the
months.
primary.
Maybe it was July.
So he didn't do any campaigning. late in the
many
season.
months. Very contested race. It's an at-large, so the straight ticket vote does not count. You have to individually select people by name or by letter. There were 3 Democrats, 1 Libertarian, and 3 Republicans in the race. All 3 Republicans won the race. Jessup was arrested this summer and charged with a sexual assault from an incident in Las Vegas in January of this year. His trial starts on Monday, February 24th. So he is going to continue to be incarcerated in Nevada.
He's been in jail the whole time.
Yeah. He's never campaigned. He's been stuck here since the summer. And he wound up with 15,677 votes of people that intentionally selected his name.
And I think the party was like, he won the primary, so
You can't get removed until
He's here.
until you're convicted
So,
of
I was
something.
gonna say he's
cannot get removed.
accused and not convicted,
Correct.
and he's in prison. So I'd be like, yeah. So you can't be removed from the ballot unless I don't know what the mechanism is for that. I don't think you can be.
So the 4th place finisher, 10,000 votes. 10,000 votes. So missed by 5,000 votes against the dude that's been sitting in jail for 5 months
Man,
in
that's-
Vegas.
in Vegas.
That's rough.
who also has not been doing his job as a county councilman either. By the way,
Yeah,
unavailable for
because-
work.
Well,
He is the sitting county councilman.
Yeah, he's been there a long time.
they do have Zoom from jails. So you can zoom in.
I don't think he gets a call in.
I think they can make that happen. The Hancock County jail is a lot more. They're very
Clark
progressive.
County,
They're
Nevada, right?
So this is to protect the seat. The Jessup told the county chairman that if he wins, he plans to step down immediately. But
If he
if
wins,
he
though.
won, because if he didn't win, then somebody else would have just
Now
taken
he's
over. He
holding
could
all
have
the
taken himself on the
cards.
name. Now, because he won, I believe that the county commissioners would then get to, or the county party would now get to
Yeah, I was
caucus.
gonna say so. Then the party gets
so the
puts somebody
Republicans
in
would
there.
get to pick whoever the hell they
if
want.
he resigns.
Yes,
If he resigns.
yeah, he doesn't have to.
Interesting.
He has control of it. He doesn't have to.
Right.
Does he have to wait till he takes office?
He's already in office.
Oh, so there's
He's
not
in
something
office
doing
and
it now and
he's
it's
an
not.
incumbent.
holding it.
He holds the office. I guess they would change office again in probably January 1st, and he doesn't face trial until late January or late February.
What are the charges in Nevada?
Sexual
assault.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
Very aggressive.
it's 2024,
Sexual
guys.
assault.
It's it's horrible. Congratulations.
it's an ugly allegation.
I guess
How
they-
about those voters in Hancock County, Indiana, though? Folks are talking about how purple that's turning. It's Trump
I don't
train. The Trump train really helped out all the Republicans.
The red wave. Even if you're in jail, the red wave helped you out.
Be proud, Hoosiers. Our neighboring county. Thank God it wasn't here.
Wasn't us.
We haven't elected a felon
Wasn't
to an
us.
office for years.
Yeah, I
It's been
don't.
a couple years.
Yeah, it's been.
At
since
I
we-
least that we know of.
what was the last one?
I believe that there's a record for our township trustee.
Okay.
Oh, yep.
I mean, at the
Yeah.
county level, like when was the last time a felon?
No, that
elected
was
to-
expunged.
Still shows up.
Yeah.
Still shows up.
All right.
Oops.
Look out. See it move. It's moving west. So it is Henry County, Hancock County, Marion County. Be ready. Be ready.
Yeah.
It's going due west. It's going due west. Maybe Lawrence. It's our prediction. All right. So let's talk high level. Very weird presidential race in general because Trump didn't debate anybody in a primary process. All the Republicans stood around, said,
Hold on.
we'll
this
vote
is
for anybody."
Nikki Haley erasure. Nikki Haley, as a strong, independent woman, ran against Trump and immediately got crushed by the system. So there was one that he was primaried.
He
Yeah.
He did
Well,
not debate her because he
would
couldn't
never
be
There
show
was
up
bothered.
debate.
one debate.
He wouldn't show
Not
up
with
at them.
not with her.
There were debates, but not with her. Chris Christie was there.
Oh, it was I'm sorry. It's
Vivek
the-
Ramaswamy
it was
was
the-
there.
it was I called it the loser debates because it was just like, this is so sad.
And then they all raised their hand and said that they would support the eventual
Yes,
nominee, no matter
yeah.
who it was. So that was the Republican side. Democrat side, Uncle Joe Biden won the presidential primary. Had
With-
one.
Here's your first like warning light on your dashboard. He won Michigan in like, what was it, 10,000 or 15,000 in Michigan? We're saying like we're undeclared.
Yes.
In they went to the polls to specifically say we will not support you
Yes.
because of your policy with Israel and Gaza. And that went out the news cycle immediately. It's like, well, this did happen, but
Did you pull the data? Did you send it to me today?
the one I sent to you
on-
today
on their is it Tlaib? Is their
yes,
congresswoman?
this is my
Dearborn, Michigan
like
voter
in
data.
the let me pull it up here.
Well, while you're looking for that,
In the nutshell of that whole election, with especially Michigan. So you have Dearborn County, which is
the number one Palestinian and
Palestinian
Arab
Muslims,
base.
like just a number of people that the Democrats could count on, right? Presidential election for that county, Trump +7. Rashida Tlaib, a woman of color, a Muslim woman, +32. Like, how do you explain
different parties, Democrat and Republican.
So, and to cut to the chase of my point, you have all these Democratic operatives, all these people that are like dyed in the wool, hardcore party people that are saying this country is so fascist, this country is so sexist, this country is so misogynistic, this country is so racist. That's all you need to see. Like, Trump won a county where Rashida Tlaib won by 32 points. Like, what else? What else is there to say? Like, your candidate,
it was
in your election, your campaign did not impact the people that needed to get out the vote. And the other stat, I would say, is Trump underperformed in 2024 compared to 2020 by 2 million votes at this point. And I know there's going to be more votes counted.
California, when I looked earlier today, was only at 55% reporting.
So he may get to his 2020 levels, but like I've always said that Trump has a floor, not a ceiling, where it's like he has like kind of a cap on where he can go, right? Whereas all these other people, you're sort of transitional or transcendent type of candidates, like your Barack Obama, like all these other people, don't have a floor. They have more of a ceiling of how many votes they can possibly get. The issue with Harris, why Harris lost, and I'm convinced of this, is that she did nothing to differentiate herself from Joe Biden, and she did very little to differentiate herself from Donald Trump.
So what I wanted to talk about, I guess, was that Harris is the candidate that they just had to have, right? Mm-hmm. Biden, because of the timing of when he dropped out, there was not a good mechanism. The primaries were over, and unless you were going to have a convention floor fight, it had to be Harris because she was the vice president.
In hindsight, Biden says 2 years into the term, I'm not going to run for re-election. 2 years advance notice.
Right.
Instead, he thinks he can do it because he is prideful. He is delusional.
He said when he was elected, he was going to be a one-term president.
He said he was a transitional to the next generation. That's what sold people on him to begin with.
Is let's just get out of this Trump thing.
Yes,
we'll live with Biden. We'll move on.
We're riding with Biden until we can't, because he's a broken down old man that can barely put together two sentences in a debate against another broken down old man who ended up being president of the United States. So my point is that, if you start this process 2 years into the term, you allow the primary process, which Harris may have benefited from. She may have become more battle tested. She may have become more savvy with what the voters want. Her people may have been able to lock in with that more. And instead, she tries to bring in Republican voters, of which I think 1% went from Republican to Democrat this election. So you basically sold out your base to get 1% of the other side. Like it statistically makes no sense at all. If you're just an objective observer, it makes no sense at all why they ran this type of campaign.
There was not the motivation other than Trump hatred for the blue base to turn out.
But honestly, who else could have done it?
I don't know. I don't know if a Pete Buttigieg, a Josh Hawley. I as much as I hate to say it, I'll say it out loud because I think there's reality to it. There's a portion of this country that doesn't want to have people that are filling out a quota or a paint by numbers or box ticking candidate. Yeah. And they don't necessarily, Pete Buttigieg had, obviously he's he's gay, and that's a disqualifier to a number of people in the state or in this country. There's people that still have hesitancy about voting for a woman.
Yep. There's people in this gay, there's black, there's woman.
Right. And two of those three boxes are ticked. And while the Democrats want to show progress, and I think that when Biden was selected, he said, I'm going to pick a woman as vice president. I'm going to put women on the Supreme Court.
Yep.
Cool. Great. Fine. America doesn't necessarily, I think America still wants whoever they view as the best person, and whatever that means to an individual voter in their household, but they don't necessarily want somebody that's filling out an EEOC, what we call DEI now as a country now, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. That's still Dale Earnhardt Incorporated to me. But it is. I hear DEI and I go Dale Earnhardt Incorporated every damn time. Andrew Bowman and
I'm with you.
DEI is just shorthanded for I don't want these other people that aren't white to take these positions, because it's this perceived notion that they are only getting it because of their race or sex or whatever else. Whereas, she on paper, right? She was a hell of a prosecutor, attorney general for the biggest state,
for the state of California,
for one of the fifth biggest economy in the history of the world. Like, she's got all these credentials. Like, there's no doubt about it.
She was a senator from California. That's not, and this is why I think she struggled. Zach, you're
which is frankly the hardest state to become a senator of.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
because there's way too many people.
It's difficult to become a senator.
It's easy to become a senator in Wyoming.
It's a lot easier to be the senator from Delaware since 1960 or 71 or whatever.
Hey man, here's the deal.
You're saying California is different than Indiana.
Zach, she was beaten badly in 2020. Tulsi Gabbard ran her out of the race because of a debate performance in the 2020 election.
Sanders won California while she was still in there.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
she wasn't a great candidate then. She was selected as vice president, which made her the de facto leader of the party. But I wonder if that's a portion of it. And there was nothing anybody could do because of the timing of this, but I don't know if she was the best choice that Democrats had in the entire field.
Yeah.
She was the only choice.
Right. Yes, because of the date that it happened.
Because of when it happened.
But if you started running May of 2020,
that's the whole thing. Like, it's a set of dominoes, right? Where it's like you wait until it's too late to have a primary. You put this person in there that she could have went in and been dynamite. Like, it could have been something where she differentiated herself from all the unpopular things about Biden and latched onto all the popular things. Yet the establishment did not want to do that. And it was only until it was too late where she was so tied to, like, the whole idea of getting Republicans in, like the Liz Cheney stuff, that like there are so many old Democrats. The idea of Dick Cheney being in their party, you might as well invite Beelzebub into your house. Like, he is the devil.
Yeah.
And so you're not exciting the base. If anything, you're scaring the base off.
When you look around and you go, this is the coalition, you go, what?
It was like, why do I want to be a part of this? It's a clown
October
show.
Looking around going,
it's
this
a
is
joke.
really, really,
and
really
and
weird.
You want to be Diet Coke to Republicans Coke. Like, you want to be like it's not what, if you just want to be a Republican, just vote Republican. Like, you don't have to, like, suck up to all of Biden's policies and all of his missteps, because he has screwed up. He's screwed up Gaza. He's screwed up all these other aspects of foreign policy. It's only going to get worse with Trump. But at the same time, you could say, I'm going to try and make these things better on the world stage because of X, Y, and Z. But what her biggest, I think, shortcoming was not running harder against Dobbs, which I think by and large nationally was extremely unpopular. And so
Dobbs being the overturn of the abortion.
Yes. And even, like, I think epitomized it like a town hall with Anderson Cooper, where he was trying to, like, softball the Dobbs questions to her. And she was just like, yeah, Donald Trump's terrible. January 6th. And then he was talking about the wall, and she's like, can you believe Trump said Mexico would pay for it? That's hilarious. But sometimes there are people that have good ideas. It's just like, how are you any different? How are you delivering? That's the whole thing about politics. You have to differentiate yourself from the other candidate. Like, that's politics 101. And so, like, when she would get in these moments, it would just be like, what are we doing here? It was like, it brought me back to the Biden debate where he lost his mind all night long. And he talked about, like, they gave him the softball abortion question. And then he's like,
solve Medicare.
and then we defeated Medicare. No, he didn't do that one. But he was like, then he starts talking about like immigrants raping people. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, do you have a functional brain at this point? Because he really, like, he was just, it's just incredible. Like, you have to differentiate yourself from the other side. They absolutely did not sell that. They lost. There's a reason for that. And it's not because their country turned more racist, more misogynistic, more whatever.
They did a bad job.
They didn't get the turnout.
Let's talk about.
No, so the turnout. How in the heck does Kamala Harris lose Philadelphia?
She didn't lose the city.
No, but that
You're wearing the Flyers hat. You tell us.
boys of Broad Street, damn it. Not voters.
I figured you got the thumb on the pulse there on the Philadelphia.
So there were three issues that I think that came out of the exit polls that wound up being very heavily weighted that I don't think I see it as much, at least two of these, I don't see as much of an issue in my world in living in Henry County, Indiana. Immigration. People give a damn about immigration, whether we realize it or not sitting here. That was one that hit home, and I don't know how many murderers they're going to round up on day one and how many murderers in this country, but there's people that are convinced that there are illegal migrant murderers that have come into this country and they need to be deported. And that's one of the issues that I saw. Two, the economy, which honestly, if they're the inflation, the feelings people have, the mortgage rates, that's one that Democrats are just hung on because they happen to be the ones holding the bag right now.
Right.
That one, I don't think that you just got to deal with that as it is.
I do think one thing that was annoying, and Kamala did mention this like initially, and I don't know if she pounded away at it too much. I don't actually get to watch too much of like adult television, but it's really irritating when they try and tell you that the economy is doing great. And it's like the stock market looks like it's doing great, but like mortgage things are up, like inflation, all that stuff. It's like, go talk to normal people, and they'll
if you
tell
get
you
a
how
3%
much
raise and it's 10% more for groceries.
Yeah.
It's not that much better.
And so like you can acknowledge that, and you can even try to explain how it happened and how, if nothing else, people should kind of understand that the economy's lag behind the presidency. If the presidency has much impact at all, it's going to lag a little bit behind. So like if, the economy for the first couple of years of Trump's term was coming off the heels of Obama's term. So like,
he wasn't a strong debater, but I think Tim Walz did a hell of a lot better job of connecting with regular people than Kamala did.
Sure. And they muzzled him, and they didn't let him do shit the rest of the time. Like that's the whole thing. Like they don't play to their strengths. I just don't understand it. It's like,
but if he's
like
on the national platform now, if he had been able to run in 2022 for president,
sure,
he may have done very well himself.
The Walz-Vance debate, I would listen to that every day, as opposed to the Harris-Trump debate.
he seems like a genuine guy.
Both of
Which
them.
is-
the different
in that debate format, both of them seem genuine.
the whole thing about Walz is that's why I correctly
You
predicted
did.
that
You
would.
predicted that he
Thank
would be
you.
the guy.
Where's my cash prize?
Prawn
that-
crackers.
God.
No, we
Oh,
didn't
that's
have
not
prawns
cash.
that night.
I get paid in beer here. Anyway, that's why he was so relatable. It was just because that's the point I was trying to get across that episode, was just that he is such a relatable, I'm the Menard's dad type person that
Everyone's
I thought
great uncle.
that everybody would like. Okay, so he kind of balances her out on that, and I really thought he would bring in more, like reassure like working class people. The problem was that she spent more time with Liz Cheney than she did with the Sean Payne of the auto workers union. That's your true working class base, and
they
she
decided
neglected
they're just
them.
not gonna-
She
they're
just
not gonna
neglected
endorse.
them education on electorally. She neglected them. I'm usually talking about educational neglect, but this is electoral neglect of just letting your base just wither on the vine and just give them platitudes, things like that. Whereas, could you imagine Waltz and like Fain together, like doing this barnstorming, like let's whip up the working class, let's get people to believe in this project together. Like they would have had people.
Does Waltz
worked up
have a
into a
puncher's
lather.
chance in 4 years of being the nominee?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so, because I think it's going to be Shapiro in
Josh Shapiro out of
2028.
Pennsylvania.
Absolutely. I think
Shapiro
he's
or Buttigieg.
Shapiro. It's going to be Shapiro.
He's 1 for 1 on predictions so far. The other issue that, my God, I don't know, Brian Nichols is right. The transgender issue, guys playing girls sports, whatever.
I was
whatever
so sick of
boogeyman-
seeing those.
whatever boogeyman there is.
Oh gosh.
It connects with people.
Yeah.
And it connects deeply with people. It doesn't affect my world,
Why?
but it is I've talked to people that's why they voted the way they did.
The whole
As if it's the number one issue in the world, but that is the reason.
And I said this on Patreon. I think the most endearing thing about Trump is when he has these moments of clarity where it's just like it just cuts through the whole like act and everything. And someone asked him, they were like, have people talked to you about like boys playing girls sports and pretending to be girls and all this stuff? He's like, yeah, nobody's ever brought that up to me organically. like this is never so the Republican Party has never, like the president of the United States is running on this like she's for they them, he's for you, like, which whoever the ad campaign was for that, I hate you, but also you deserve whatever money you earned because apparently it worked. But the whole idea that like that turned the election, that and
the modern
the
Willie Horton ad.
transgendered like prisoners in federal prison,
paying
it was
for
like
somebody else's sex change.
so you're talking about 0.01% of like how many federal prisoners are you talking about? Like, well, one's enough. If you support that, then you're nuts. It's like we're talking about a country that deals with trillions of dollars, and we're talking about like just trans people in such a like he does so much with like othering of people where it's like be afraid of the other.
As much as we like to pretend it doesn't work, wedge issues push
It does.
voters.
It just does.
Wedge and we've gone from
It just
gay
works,
marriage
folks.
to abortion to now transgenders are
Yeah.
the boogeyman.
And we're going to go backwards we're going to go back towards villainizing gay marriage because that was just decided in
the last 15
like
years.
abortion was decided long before I was born. And so the gay marriage decision came not that long ago, and it doesn't take that much for a Supreme Court to say, yeah, that was incorrectly decided. We're going to throw it to the states.
So, Sean, you did a wonderful job of picking who the losing vice presidential nominee would be.
I picked who the vice presidential nominee would be, not the losing one.
No.
I picked who it was.
You said-
I didn't say they would lose.
The one that
it's gonna
lost.
be Tim. And
Use your mic. Use your mic there, buddy.
sorry, you said it's gonna be
That's
Tim.
going to be Waltz.
So, but you selected Walz.
Mm.
On the winning side, we had Vance.
Yeah.
Vance is now going to get promoted to the useless job of being vice president.
Not so useless when your president is 78 years old. And he drinks Diet Cokes and eats Big Macs like if they're going to have
2 fillets
style.
of fish and 4 Big Macs a night.
Exactly.
So that's the question. It is all right. He's 78 years old.
Yeah.
Does he last all 4 years?
Unfortunately, yeah. I think you.
You think so?
Two people have cracks at that. So he survived both of those. So he survived COVID. He survived 2 assassination attempts. I think frankly the man is
I think
invincible.
3 years. 3 years.
I think they're going to try to amend the Constitution. Son of a bitch is going to come back for a third chance.
And then it'll be like Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, because Obama will come back too.
Where is Mick Foley in all of this?
Oh, damn. That's a
If
side
you-
effect they would
I'm
not
not
consider.
kidding. Like
Oh,
Obama's coming out of that tunnel. Like if he has that chance, I don't care
Against
how
an
old Obama is.
83-year-old.
Against an 83-year-old Donald Trump, Obama will come out, gray hair and all, and be like, let me be clear. I'm going to
raise his hand and be like, hang on, I want a primary.
No, Clinton will be dead by then.
I did not have sex with that woman.
No.
So, all right.
Obama will be
man,
like,
that would be a debate, though. Can we get that debate no matter what? Trump versus Obama?
can you,
He can still. That guy can still talk. He is.
You think that would happen and W would just try to primary him for beating Jeb?
Let me
It
be
just
clear.
turned into all the every living president just
I
comes
want-
out of the
It's a
woodwork.
Royal Rumble.
Jimmy
It
Carter
just-
at
it turns-
104, fucking roll him out
It
there.
turns
too.
it turns
Why
into
not? He's got to outlive
presidential
He's still
all-star
got a
race.
shot.
Let's put a cage up.
He's got goodness in his heart somewhere. So I mean, that's why he's outliving like Nixon and Clinton. and all these other
The question we're trying
George
to ask:
H.W.
JD Vance is going to be vice president, so there's an open Senate seat. I looked into this because this is the kind of shit I do. Governor Mike DeWine, who is one of the last never Trumper anti-Trumpers on the planet, still in office as a Republican, he gets to make the interim appointment, the governor of Ohio. So Vivek Ramaswamy is super, super, super looking forward to the chance to be appointed to the U.S. Senate, a man that's never won anything yet in his life.
That guy sucks so bad. He's such a try hard dork that I just don't.
So
Why would
But his name
anybody
is known.
Why would anybody give him anything? Just
So-
give it literally go find the garbage man and just give it to him or Vivek. He just is such a dork. No. Hard no.
I think the ultimate troll would be to put John Boehner in as a U.S. senator
That'd be awesome.
because he doesn't give a damn.
He drinks wine.
He drinks wine and
He
smokes,
cusses and
smokes
smokes
heaters.
cigars. Smokes.
Hell
Is
yeah.
he still smoking
71
heaters?
years old. 71 years old, and essentially you get the seat for about a year and a half.
Does he
and then you
cry
have to
less
run.
now? It was.
Doesn't matter. Does it matter? I think it would be spectacular because he would actually be a never Trumper just for the theater of it. And then there are some more serious people. There were 3 candidates that ran for the Senate seat. Moreno is the fellow that just won the seat, and there was a handpicked guy that's a state senator. His name is escaping me. I'd written it down earlier, but it's not there now. But he comes from money. His father
is
owns.
he the one who's the
His father
Cleveland
owns the
Guardians?
Indians. The Guardian.
The Guardians.
Yes,
Come
I'm
on
sorry.
now.
The Cleveland baseball team. Yeah. So this fellow was handpicked by DeWine and lost the primary, so he could just go ahead and drop him into the Senate himself if he wanted to.
So what about the lieutenant governor?
And then John Husted is also out there and possible as well. So I don't know. I want the maximum entertainment, either Vivek or John Boehner, who's not even asking for the job. Boehner would
Go
be spectacular.
Vivek or go home. I mean, he was at least on the campaign trail.
He's notable.
Vivek just is one of the most annoying people, short of Andrew Yang, that there is. I don't know. There are certain guys.
Yang was another one from the 2020
Yang
list
was.
that didn't get through.
Oh my gosh! Just give me a break. Just
You're only talking
Dorks.
negatively, Yang, because Dakota's not here.
Yang gang.
does Dakota work here anymore?
He's
He's too
an
afraid to see
administrator.
me. I'm
Zach,
increasing in my power.
Dakota's been here twice since June,
Okay.
and he's an administrator. He pays the
Yeah.
bills, and he was just here 2 months ago.
Wow.
The man is a full time.
I've been here 3 times since then.
Yeah,
So
well, that's why you
Wow.
you sit in the co-host.
So I
chair
get
every time
paid big bucks.
you get 2 beers a night. And I gotta go back. You can keep coming. I gotta go back to Wisconsin. What's the cabinet look like? I had a smart ass comment about the poll as to how many press secretaries, how many chiefs of staff, how many defense secretaries is he going to have? But
Who's left? He went through so many when
Yeah,
he
it's
was
the whole thing,
president.
like,
He
this whole-
burned through them
This
so
whole
fast.
round is who are my new friends? So the new friends are Elon, RFK, probably Vivek. That Vivek would probably be your press secretary there. Just he's so nerdy, but you can't punch him legally.
Forrest writes me a note. I have to pee. Go.
People just get up and go.
So the most horrifying idea is the idea of RFK Jr., who had a brain worm in his brain.
He's something.
The idea of him in charge of anything
Health
related
and Human
to health
Services.
is horrifying to me, and probably the most terrifying idea of Trump being president is for my own benefit is RFK Jr. being in charge of anything related to health, because he's
He likes lifting things.
gosh.
Politico has a list of all the offices that are out there, the cabinet level positions, and who's possible. The Undersecretary of Agriculture from term number 1 is a guy named Ted McKinney from Indiana.
Does he have brain worms too, or no?
No, but
Okay, good.
he's one of the two. McKinney and Kennedy are both listed as the top line plausible people to be Secretary of Agriculture.
Everybody knows about the brainworm story, right? Where
Yes.
he said he had a worm in his brain and they took it out of him. Like, Kennedy had brain worms, and he's gonna be in the. And he's talking about like chopping up like bears and whales and whatever.
We'll do like a whale head on the roof of the
It's
car.
just the most bizarre.
I haven't actually heard like detailed versions of some of the crazy stories that have come out of his mouth, but he sounds like a very interesting guy. He sounds like what happens when the gene pool starts to get a little shallow.
Yeah,
He got 1% of the vote in Indiana. You guys shouldn't trash the man.
Well, I saw there was some shade being thrown in one of the wall groups about him getting more votes than the Libertarian candidate. I was like, he's, no matter what you say about him, he's still a Kennedy. And like,
he's still a Kennedy. Damn it.
That's still going to get him a certain number of, even if he's actively telling people not to vote for him, people
he's still
are
a Kennedy. And
he's
2
still
months
a
ago,
kid. And like,
Donald said, "By God, you're my man."
Yeah. Well, it just, that's a family name that a lot of people like still have positive connotations with. So yeah,
I just think for this cabinet though, to answer the question, I just think it's going to be a new series of characters. Like he's not going to recycle in the old people because they've already been used up.
No,
they've served their usefulness to him at that point. So he's not going to keep recycling those people.
Who's my new puppet?
Who's
is
my
what
new,
it comes down to.
Yes.
How many former cabinet members spoke out against him?
And all the real like professional people are already like, yeah, we tried that. I don't want to be a part of that anymore. So I just think it's gonna be a whole new cast of characters. We can't wait for the new season of this whole thing called America. And we'll see what happens.
It's welcome to the shit show.
And it'll be either like the most like fascist hardcore thing you've ever seen, or it'll be nothing. We don't know. Like we just don't know, because like he's just saying, like he'll say all these things and you don't know if he's serious about any of them, if not half of them.
There's a very real chance that it'll be a Senate and a House of Representatives that are all
and that's
red.
the thing, like he's going to be totally emboldened to do whatever he wants.
The
Not
only,
that he wasn't
the only thing that
last
can
time.
stop is the filibuster.
No,
Democrats the filibuster that they can cloture through now. The cloture through.
Yeah. They'll stop the migrant camps and the internment camps and all the whatever else he wants to do.
We're all just hanging on the thread of somebody standing and talking for 7 hours at a lectern. That thread.
Tired.
That's all that you have.
He's tired. He's 78. We should let the man rest.
All right. Over under 4 years or not?
Yes. Joe Biden made it 4 years.
It won't be under. It'll be at 4 years. I don't think it'll go past 4 years. Because I think that's what.
By God, if he has his way, he will.
Well, if he has to amend the Constitution.
Look at the map. Why the hell not?
Yeah.
Well,
what's stopping
him? Could he get it? Could he get it with the votes, you think, with a midterm? Or now, even right now.
Why not? They need more. You don't have enough votes in the House or the Senate to do, because you need 2/3 majority.
Yeah, you need 2/3 of the House, which you don't have.
Although if you tempt them and go, hey, people, we could bring back Barack.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was trying to do my Barack as the Rock quote, and you guys kept running over me. And I was saying, let me be clear. Can you spell what Barack is cooking?
I just
and
picture
then that would be it. That he'd do. Oh,
just picture like
people's elbow.
They pass it and they start celebrating, and then like the lights go out and they start playing music, and then Barack comes out of the back of Congress, and they're like, "I'm back," and they're like, "Oh, we didn't think about that. We didn't think about like other people from the other side coming back."
It's the presidential senior tour,
and then it's just
the
like
legends.
we're just hitting wrestling figurines together, like we were when we were like 8 years old, and it was just like, I can beat you, Ultimate Warrior. No, I can beat you, Hulk Hogan. It's just the stupidest form of politics possible, because we can't imagine anything other than what has existed. And we can't like think of things that have not already happened.
We are the country that reboots the same stupid ass movie 2 or 3 times.
Yes. Oh gosh. Yeah. They're under the sun, like in the past, like 30 years.
Okay. So we've been there. We've done that. It's not on the show notes, but seriously, what the hell is next?
I hope it's a millennial. JD Vance is
Not
the
gonna
first
be.
millennial.
Not gonna
JD
be.
Vance is the first millennial vice president or president.
Is it going to be JD versus Pete?
I don't think Pete. I'm like Sean. I don't think this country is ready for a non-straight, non-male president.
Yeah, that the country's clearly not ready for a female. Hillary, nope. Kamala, nope. So Trump's record is I'm going to beat a woman to get into the White House.
And I'm gonna
I think
I'm gonna have 2 million less votes doing it though.
I
That's
think
the
it's
whole
going to be a
thing.
conservative woman to be the first woman president will come from the Republicans.
They tried
So
that.
who's hanging out there?
They tried.
Elsie
It's not
Stefanik.
Sarah.
They tried that with Sarah Palin.
Elsie Stefanik? I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, there's the whole thing about this going forward. I think that the Republican bench. It's like this is what I posed to our friend Bash before I showed up late here tonight. What is Trumpism without Trump? Like that's really the question,
it's a cult
which
with a
is like.
vacuum.
So it's like, what do you
Right.
do after he's done? Because either he's going to get term limited, he's going to pass away, whatever else. It's like Reaganism without the Reagan, right? So Reaganism as a concept continued on through the 80s and early 90s. Soviet Union fell. That was a big
The last
that was
of
a
the
big
Reagan,
reason Dad tried for Reaganism to even exist to begin with.
the last of the Reagan types was Mike Pence, who nearly died in office.
Well, Trump tried to kill him, but that's beside the point.
No, Trump's
Trump tried to allow him to
those
get him
those
killed.
people tried to kill him.
Trump tried to allow for him to be killed. But yeah, so what is Trumpism? That's really the question is what is Trumpism without what Trump has done? That's the future of the Republican Party. The future of the Democrat Party has to be we got to get back to dealing with working class people, dealing with these kitchen table issues.
The Democrats
And-
need to
and-
move back to the center to have any chance.
I don't
Of
think
picking
that's a
people up.
center. I don't think that's a center issue though.
It's a populist center, as in populism. Not the Democrats
think
have
center-
found themselves.
They went to the center and
To
they
the-
lost.
Yes, but not genuinely. They didn't.
I think Biden
they appealed to the center on the foreign policy side,
Yeah.
not on the economic side. They didn't actually come up with things that actually connected with folks. I don't think anybody took the "Hey, we'll give you $50,000 to start a small business" seriously.
No.
I don't think anybody thought there was any pay for or anything realistic about here's your extra money for having a kid. None of that really connected. It was just like, shit, we've got 30 days to come up with a plan for whatever we're doing. So this is it. And that never felt genuine or developed or fleshed out.
Well, it's because every single Democrat policy is so means tested to the point where it's like, okay, I'm a bisexual woman of color who has started a small business in a economically diverse
in a
so on and so-
disadvantaged county.
all these
yeah.
other disadvantaged blah 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 blah. So I will get a $2,000 grant to start my own business. Wow, we're really like everything about their policies is so means tested to the bone where it's like it doesn't really help anybody.
Correct.
And so on paper they're trying to do all these things to spur business.
You're
and
virtue
things
signaling
like that.
to everybody
But-
as you do it.
But it does it to a point where it doesn't help anyone.
Right.
Because you have to qualify because if you're a Taurus that's born on a full moon, that's whatever, then you get the grant. If you do great, you get $10,000 or whatever, maybe. And if you don't, you get shit. And so
Well, and I honestly, I think that Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness that didn't really happen was a hell of a lot of I don't believe a damn thing you say. Where's my health care? Where's my student loan forgiveness you
Yes.
promised me? It never happened. So I don't believe you that you're giving me some tax credit.
but-
I will. Can I speak up?
I will say for public service, if
I was
you
gonna go that
truly
direction.
were healthcare, if you truly were an educator, I think it served them well.
I was going to say that because
in
if he did-
Indiana,
But it's a small percentage.
it is a small percentage. So you had to check all the boxes. And in Indiana, that did not serve Jennifer McCormick well at all.
well, I will say for the public student loan forgiveness program, the one thing Biden did that was transformational for your boy is that he did change that program to the sense that it worked for like 1 or 2% of people were successful in that, and that exponentially grew. And I'm one of those people that got my loans forgiven by my public service with the public defender's office. So I have to say, to that extent, he fixed it. To the extent that he was
for the elite defense attorneys,
those elite public defenders,
those people got
and prosecutors.
There are those in education who did get it,
and education and teachers and police officers and all these other people. Like, he did make that program better. So he did do that. The other part of it is, though,
screw you if you join the electoral union.
Is that well, you did. You're talking about your co-host.
Yeah. No.
Well, he's off making money now, so I'm not worried about him. But
not yet.
Yeah, I'll worry about him. If he shows up, I'll worry about him. If he doesn't show up, I'm not going to worry about him. But no, they were able to accomplish certain things. I'm not saying there was a total abject failure of a presidency. It's just that, like, the idea that he got voted in on was like, okay, he's got this expertise in foreign policy. He's got all this expertise on bringing people together as like sort of like an LBJ kind of like, you're going to come in, you're going to vote this way, you're going to vote this way, we're going to get stuff done. None of that came to
turns
bear.
out after 13
None
months,
of that came.
His brain broke.
And he got dog walked by like Netanyahu, who did whatever he wanted in Israel, and Biden just kept giving him weapons. Like, that's just an abject failure of foreign policy, and it's abject failure of domestic policy, where he just gets dominated by the conservative side of things, to like not have any discernible differences in foreign policy from Trump.
So
Joe Biden was a lifetime career senator who was never an executive.
Yeah,
that's the difference there.
So if a Republican was in office there, coming out of the post-COVID world, you have all the shit in Ukraine, all the shit in Gaza. Does a Republican survive that either?
No, I think anybody it's a game of hot potato. Whoever was stuck with this economy was going to lose.
Yeah.
Whichever party was holding the economy
You're
was
trying
was
to polish
hosed.
a turd at that point.
Right. And I think that if it had been, I thought Trump was going to do worse than he did. But if it had been a generic Republican, I think we were looking at 350 electoral votes. Like, I think.
You really think it would have been that extreme?
Yeah, I do. Hell, New Jersey was 5 points. Ohio was.
I think if Biden were
Illinois was only 5 or 6 points.
If Biden were the nominee, still, I think you'd look at like Mondale.
Yeah,
like that's what you'd be looking
at. If
at.
Barack Obama was running this election, you think it would have been that big of a landslide?
The other way, yeah. No. I think it was a different generic Republican, J.D. Vance or Chris Christie, whatever. I think that there was a stronger number. It probably nets out because Trump has such a cult personality.
Yeah,
but I think
his floor is so much.
Yeah,
like that he's capped.
Yeah, but I think that there was.
Agree with that.
I think that if it was generic Republican versus Joe Biden, that there was a massive amount of room there.
Yeah,
because anybody that was holding interest rates suck. Like, it is twice as expensive to buy a house right now than it was in 2018, 2019.
Well, it's because
2020,
when COVID happened, demand was so low,
right?
Gas prices were next to nothing, and then as the economy ramps up,
but
like, we got to pump the brakes on this.
We had
is that a world of Donald Trump, or is that a world of post-COVID?
It's post-COVID. It's the hot potato of the post-COVID world, and anybody that happened to be holding the bag at that moment, I think, was going to be in trouble.
Because you can't really seriously think that economically things would be all that different. It's not like Biden has a dial in his office that says McDoubles are going to be way too expensive. Oh yeah, I love sticking it to all the people, and Donald Trump's going to be like, no,
But damn
That's
it,
all
I
right.
like quarter pounders.
And Zach,
I'm going to
this-
give you the quarter pounder.
This
We're
is
gonna
one of
bring it
Zach's
back,
favorite
folks.
points is that everybody points to the November 2020 gas prices
I
when the
hate
world
that.
wasn't moving.
Yes, thank
Oh,
you.
You're
Yeah,
just,
oh.
you're just picking a random
It was
ass
like-
data
Gas
point.
prices
It was
were
like-
X,
it was
but
like
the
a-
stock market was here.
It was like $1.25 a gallon or something like that. I think at one point we might have gotten like $dollar gas for like 4 days.
Nobody could drive because
But you-
everybody was terrified of dying.
But I didn't have any gas. I didn't
I
get
didn't
to
have
buy,
anywhere to go.
I didn't
nowhere
buy
to
any
go.
of that gas because
That's
I
the other
couldn't.
thing.
I literally got up, walked upstairs, went to work, walked downstairs,
Yeah.
and then I would go for a run every day. And then I would come here on Thursdays, and that was my life for like a year. And so, like, yeah, people post that. I'm like, you guys have to remember the reason why gas was so cheap was not because of anything. It was cheap globally. I believe at that point, oil was negatives per barrel because it was costing more money to store it than they could sell it for.
Yeah.
Like, so the actual
So you mean
market
the
price of it.
economic law of supply versus demand is
yeah,
real?
like people just forget we couldn't go anywhere, and like, yeah, there's just and that's almost a thing where you almost wish like, hey, like Democrats, did you really want to run and like actually beat him, or just let him sit there and get stuck with this economy that he had some hand in creating? Because there was a lot of stimulus money that got. Well, I got a letter that said Trump gave me my money, even though Congress is who would authorize that. But like, yeah, some of it's cyclical, and people don't
I
understand.
believe he
the
signed
delay.
the checks personally.
I think
I
he
think
did
they
too.
did have his signature.
courtesy of Donald J.
The Treasury Department did make sure that they had.
If I
Trump's
didn't see,
name
I
on
didn't.
them.
Mine was direct deposited, so they sent me a letter. I was like, "This is the biggest waste of money ever." That they sent me a letter with his name on it to tell me that he's the one that gave me the money. But yeah, that gas post, it still pops up, and I'm like, there was a bunch of I have a Ford Excursion. I'm in a bunch of Facebook groups. A bunch of them like get diesel cheap again or whatever. And it's like, it ain't happening, guys. It's just not. That's not.
So did you make a post this week of mark this day, November 5th, 2024?
$2.99
Gas
a
prices
gallon.
were X. I bought a gallon of milk for this. Bread was this. Interest rates were this.
No,
I did
don't
have a
care.
Facebook memory come up
Slacker.
today from 2012. It was Ann Romney, the wife of Mitt Romney, and it was a very crude meme because this was back when memes were black and white, and it said Ann Romney is secretly happy she didn't have to move into a smaller house. That was my memory from 12 years ago, as the Romneys had lost to the Obamas, in a race amongst gentlemen. Yeah,
But that really was like the last political race that
didn't have Donald Trump on
like
the ballot.
two semi-normal people on it.
So which
Yeah.
one is it? Semi-normal or did not have Donald Trump?
Just not Donald Trump. Yeah.
The problem is,
I think it's one and the same.
The problem is going to be that in 4 years, you're going to have people that act like Todd Rokita that are just trying to pretend like the Donald Trump, but the man is one of a kind. I'm looking forward to see how big the print is on hats next time in 2028 as people try to steal the Trump merch brand and do it for themselves.
I just want to see someone run that does not have a brand.
Man, I do too.
Will that happen again?
I'm
we
not
all
even-
have a
People love
brand.
baseball hats. I don't know.
We all have a brand. I don't know.
Just keep it to bumper
I just
stickers.
don't like red and white hats.
What about white and red hats? There's gold ones now, man. The platinum edition now that it's the commemorative hats. I got a text today. So the texting has not stopped.
I never got any of the text.
All the parties have texted.
Okay, I'm gonna say I'm gonna brag about this because my kids control too much of the TV, and I've been too busy. I don't think I saw one complete political ad on TV all the way through the entire year, and the only time I heard a couple of on the radio we're listening to Bob and Tom or a little bit on the radio, so I heard. And for the most part, I was listening to a Muncie station. So I was getting, and this is horrible, I don't even remember, Destiny Wells, who's running for Attorney General.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. Heard a couple of her ads. That's the only one I can remember off the top of my head. And then they're like judges races because the station I was to is out of Muncie. But I didn't get texts. I didn't get calls. And somehow the only mailers I got were for a candidate who was running unopposed, Mr. Chris Hall.
So a couple weeks ago, I was in Philadelphia, and if you turned on the TV in Philadelphia,
yeah, because we're not.
you got New Jersey, you got Delaware, and you had Pennsylvania. I didn't know who the hell I was voting for, but I didn't like any of them.
Yeah.
They all sucked.
We spent a weekend in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, getting the local news, and it was spectacular.
I guess there's an advantage to being in a state that's just, even if it's, I don't like the way it goes, it's very defined as one way, so they're not going to waste any money on advertising here.
This text comes in today. I have no idea what it's about. No history with it. Trump's immunity to be revoked. This is not a drill. Mega response alert required. So I'm like, what in the hell is this? And it's Donald Trump, immunity revoked. Federal judge wants to eliminate President Trump's immunity. All of this stuff, stop the witch hunt. It's got a countdown clock of less than 5 minutes and all of these values. And it is co-sponsored by Donald Trump and this guy that's a congressman, Jason Smith. It has no mention of Jason Smith anywhere except for at the very end of you're donating to this Jason Smith for Congress guy, whatever. He's a sitting congressman from Missouri. And he's splitting the money. He
has your number. He's booty calling
and
you.
He's splitting the money with Donald Trump's campaign, which the Donald Trump campaign that he's splitting it with, it's the contribution will benefit Jason Smith for Congress and Trump National Committee, JFC, which I assume stands for Jesus.
Right there with you.
Fill in the blank.
Christ. And there's also in big red print at the end, don't forget to visit the official Trump store by clicking here to get the latest mega gear. So it's also a merch sale too. These people are, I want out.
I'm just impressed you're getting those booty calls from Missouri. Does your wife know this?
My phone
I want to know,
thinks,
how did they get my number?
I could forward this to you. My phone thinks that I am an elderly man named Adrian in northeastern Georgia.
Because you watch IndyCar, damn it.
That's probably true.
And
that's probably
it's
true.
been around. I've been getting texts. I don't know if you've paid attention, but Georgia politics have been insane for the last few years. Runoff elections with Warnock and whoever the hell the other guy was, John Ossoff. And I was like a coveted voter in Georgia for 3 years in a row.
Well,
it's been spectacular.
I got some weird push text. It was like a picture of Vladimir Lenin. He was like, fellow Bolsheviks. It's like the Mensheviks are lying. Stay in line if you haven't voted yet. It's like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know you, man. It's like, I'm not going to respond to this as spam.
Final thoughts, Zach Burcham.
I don't.
How do you get to live in this little bubble? You don't get the texts.
It's honestly, if I've been exposed outside the show to like 5 minutes of political content this whole calendar year, I'd be surprised. And it's been damn delightful. Because like I didn't care. Like I have a friend that was watching all the stuff. I just didn't. I was like, John, do you know who you're voting for? Yeah. Then why are you torturing yourself watching this stuff? Like why? Just you're not going to change your mind.
Well, if you watch ESPN, you're being told that men are playing women's sports by Trump campaign.
I just saw a post
about the like the second coming.
Bronny is a whole different topic.
Hey, that father-son combo is like the number one father-son combo in points scored in this career.
Saddest, dorkiest thing ever.
True story.
Yeah, true. But like,
I'd do it if I was a billionaire.
But
I'd let my son play with me at NPAT.
Good luck to the local people that were elected officially to their positions, whether I voted for you or not. And some of you I didn't vote for. But
no one local was contested. So
yeah, I know. And so good luck to all those people. I do need to figure out who some of these people replaced, because I know at least one person on school board must have been replacing somebody, but I'm not sure who that was.
Nope. Nam Polk stayed. Jackie Hatzel stayed.
Yeah, but where'd Josh Essel go?
Gosh, who's he?
He had to be replacing somebody. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I need to look that up.
Someone did not run then.
Yeah, somebody didn't stick around. It was Zach Lee or not sure. But
so was it Seth or was it Jennifer?
It was inside seat. But good luck to those people, and hopefully at least I didn't see anybody on the like local ballots. Honestly, like some I didn't vote for, but I'm like, I didn't see anybody. I was like, oh my gosh, these people are horrible. So So yeah, good luck to those people. Hopefully we can move on from the election. Hopefully I can stop seeing less super crazy posts on Facebook about it, and people can kind of try and move on with it.
I want to see a real commercial.
Yeah, I don't like to see commercials anyway, but
so
to you, I hope you get to see some.
So Tuesday night, election night, we were watching NBC and we have YouTube TV. When it came to a commercial break, like it was this still frame.
You just get your moment of zen.
And yes, it was something like that. Like there were 3 still frame advertisements that ran.
Enjoy your quiet time.
I was like, holy shit, this is the best advertisement ever.
That's because it's a local ad spot and YouTube TV doesn't bother selling them. So they're just like, yeah, here you go. Enjoy.
I still can't. It doesn't.
I
mention
listened
who
to
they
that
are.
while it was raining on my tin roof. I was fine with that.
I will. I'll have your answer in just a second as to who your open seat was.
The website doesn't tell you what seat they're on.
I'm looking it up for you.
Okay.
I think it was Seth.
I have to go back and look at the 2020 race to see who ran for the certain seat.
I will say
2020 there were a lot more people running for office. A lot more.
I will say my condolences to Darren Jacobs. He ran for Tri-High School Board and lost.
He ran against Casey, right?
Yeah. And I say good luck to him. When I found that out, I said good luck. You got beat by a guy who won the first time without trying and won't try again, but is very well connected, very well thought of in his community. I'm a good friend of Casey's. I've run many, many thousands of miles with him. And he won again convincingly.
Why doesn't Darren just stick with like the Spiceland seat?
I do have a curiosity as to what exactly happened in Knightstown. They were the last voting center to turn their votes in. It was like almost 10 o'clock. And apparently they had like a 2-hour wait.
Knightstown had people voting until at least 7:30.
That's why.
Because it's busy. I think that, and the clerk's office will probably look at it, but the western part of the county probably needs more voting centers.
Yeah.
Like Knightstown, Indiana is going to grow.
Hancock County is growing into Henry.
Right. So although we have less registered voters now, the distribution is probably in a point where Knightstown very possibly may need to have a vote center dropped in there.
Because I did hear at least one person that got
an additional one.
They got in line to vote at 5:15 and voted at 7:17. Voting center.
So in 2020, the district in question, Haskell and Griffith won, and I'm guessing that Griffith retired from the school board.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Seth
John Griffith.
So Seth Lee's seat wasn't.
So Seth Lee's seat should have been on the ballot as well. He ran, and it was a vote for one in the inside. The other one is the outside district. Wasn't on my ballot because I live outside, I guess.
So Jackie runs an inside seat.
It was a pick 2 per inside, I think.
So inside would have been Jackie.
See, we still can't figure out who this was. So it's either. So are all the school boards up at the same time?
No.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
I've got people I can ask. I mean, I know like half the board, but
it's very old print and it's from 4 years ago. Yeah. Sean Rao, you got any final thoughts for me? Anything we forgot?
No, I mean, if you with the general election, it's so Trump is such a unique figure in American history. At this point where
the Grover Cleveland of our time.
Well, it's even more than that. I think he's probably the best politician
stuck in the bathtub.
Bill Clinton. If not before that, I don't know. Like I don't know. There's just not much more you can say. Like every reason you'd think he would lose, he wins.
He's an ultimate salesman.
It's just a branding thing, and he wins even with less people voting for him. I'm just glad that he accepted the results of the election this time openly, even though at 4:30 p.m. he was saying, "Oh, there's something going on in Philadelphia. Corruption." He was starting to build, and then all of a sudden he shut the hell up about that.
In this? What the hell is he supposed to do?
He doesn't have a dime to his name.
So it's the funniest thing in the world because for Trump supporters, the election works in 2016. It is completely taken over in 2020 to the point where we're going to storm the Capitol.
It's too big to rig.
And then all of a sudden we're too big to rig, even though we have fewer votes than we did in 2020. Like, there's just no rhyme or reason to it other than the fact these people are delusional. They'll believe whatever they want. The question is, what happens after this whole era is over? And what does the Republican Party look like? Frankly, what does the Democrat Party look like? Because I think the Democrat Party is the same place as the Republicans were after Mitt Romney lost against Obama. It's like, where do you go from here? Because you got your ass handed to you. So it's going to be interesting if the Democrats learn from their mistakes and try to court the working class again, or if they'll listen to the MSNBC class and just continue to pay money to former Republicans to try to get 1% of Republican voters to jump ship and lose horrifically and text all their people on their text groups, please, I need $25. It's like, dude, Kamala Harris ran. She ran.
She had $1 billion campaign.
She had
in 90
days. A billion with a B.
Apparently, they're $20 million overspent.
Like
they spent
what
$20 million
are you
too
doing?
much.
What? It's not because of lack of money. It's not because of misogyny. It's not because of racism. It's not because of any of those things. It's because you ran just a campaign that just did not connect with people. And Trump had fewer voters than what he did when he lost before. So it's like, what was the Led Zeppelin song? Nobody's fault but mine.
It's Joe Biden's fault. Forrest Plank. What do you got? Final thoughts?
Ah, man, there's so many thoughts. If
Prema filled their last IndyCar seat, so you don't get a full ride next year.
Are the Flyers going to make the playoffs?
no,
No,
but will they
Tampa
be?
Lightning will.
Will they be bullies? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Robert Schwartzman
Gosh.
is going to be the first full-time Israeli IndyCar driver
yes,
in the history of
full-time
IndyCar.
IndyCar, not like major motorsports, but
North American.
so. Final thoughts. If you have a daughter, like, hug them, love them, tell them you support them. It's a crazy time for politics right now, and left, right, red, blue, it doesn't matter. Give everybody a hug, love them. The next 4 years or 3 years, whatever it turns out to be, it's going to be a fun time. At the end of the day, tomorrow's a new day.
Somebody made a point the other day that they could really screw up the Trump merch, the 45 to 47 if Biden quit tomorrow and Kamala got to be president for a couple of months.
God, that'd be fantastic.
If she was just the president for 60 or so days.
They're just making guys that are upset with a bunch of 47 merch on deck, and they're like,
that are all getting.
This is my ticket,
They're all printed and coming over from China now before the tariff goes into place.
China,
and they can't fix it. It'll be. But maybe he won't make it that long naturally, and they still have to do it. And it's not even a troll job. It's just.
But no matter what, in 4 years, we can do this all again.
Maybe.
Can't wait.
Maybe.
It's going to take a lot.
Dictator day one. All right. That's enough of this show this week. Thank you guys for being a part of it. There's not enough spotted cow in the world to make your sorrows go away, but you showed up. You answered the bell. Didn't know what tonight was going to end up being. I had predicted that that this was going to be a different outcome, but I've noticed that my politics have never aligned with the rest of the country in the history of ever.
As goes your voting record.
And so I'm never not disappointed on the next day after election day. We'll ride it together. We'll be all right. You can count us being back next Thursday, though. We'll be back with you then.